Hi folks, join us in this Rambles with Robin and Rui video, season 2023, episode 23, as we briefly walk through the Yukon River Territorial Campground and visit 3 historic sternwheel paddle steamer ships that are located on the west side of the Yukon River, just downstream from Dawson City. The 3 sternwheel paddle steamers that we visit are similar to the SS Keno, which is on display in Dawson City, and the SS Klondike, which is on display in Whitehorse. You get to the sternwheel paddle steamer graveyard, as it's affectionately called, by crossing the Yukon River on the free George Black Ferry, which departs from the north end of Dawson City. You then walk to the north end of the Yukon River Campground, and finally along the sandy west shore of the Yukon River for about 200 meters. Sternwheel paddle steamers were once the primary mode of transportation along the great rivers in Yukon, but with the arrival of road and air transportation, they were abandoned. Note, the land we walked on is in the homeland of the Trondek-Witchin First Nation peoples. Enjoy! The trip began with a short ride across the Yukon River on the free George Black Ferry. The ferry departs from Dawson City and lands on the west side of the Yukon River, just outside the Yukon River Campground. Well, there is a hostel here on West Dawson. I'm not sure what it would be like. Get a private cabin for $50. Looks like it's been in existence for 25 years. And there's the view of the other side of the Yukon River with Moosehide Slide. So we're going to head to the Territorial Park, walk through that park to get towards the steamboat graveyard. So we're just heading into the Yukon River Territorial Campground on the north side of the Yukon River. We'll walk through this park to find the trail to the steamboat graveyard. Campsites looks like at the Yukon River Campground. Like all territorial parks, they're unserviced, so there's no water, no electricity. There is firewood, and the sites are variable in size, privacy, slope. They do have tent sites only, as well as sites suitable for trailers. And the campground is located right on the side of the Yukon River. And although it's an unserviced campground, they do give you wood, which is on the right, and they have pit toilets. And there is, I think there are 2 at least 2 eating sheds. They're not screened in, but there is a wood stove. So if you're late in the season or early in the season, you can at least have some heat. Many of the site posts are actually marked by rather large chunks of quartz, which is interesting because one of the gravels of interest during the Klondike Gold Rush was the quartz pebble layer, which is quite thick. Maybe these are related, I don't know. Looking across the river, Yukon River, you can see here at least 2 areas of landslide where rock has slid down from the very steep slope. It's left a cut through the forest and has accumulated at the base of the steep hill as sort of a scree or alluvial talus deposit that is shaped like a cone. And those cone-shaped features usually mark areas of mass movement or landslides down steep slopes. So if you're camped in the Yukon River Campground, check out the far side of the Yukon River and look for landslides. Well, that's a wrap for the Yukon River campsite. It's a campground. It's actually quite nice, although there's no water and no electricity. It's a lovely location, probably one of the nicer locations, both from a scenic point of view and also an historic point of view. I would say it's maybe 25 to 40% full. That probably picks up as the day passes on. Certainly something to consider, but you do need your own water. You do need to be self-sufficient. There are pit toilets, but there is no electricity, there is no water. There are a few sites suitable for mid-size travel trailers and vans. We saw one travel trailer that was probably on the order of 50 feet long, and it was parked in a very special location along the road. There is a reason why this area is informally called a paddlewheel graveyard. These sternwheelers were pulled up onto the shore at the end of their shipping season many years ago. They were never used again on the Yukon River. After many years of neglect, the ships are slowly being reclaimed by Mother Nature. Note that the graveyard site is not serviced, and you should watch carefully where you walk to avoid tripping, stepping on rusty artifacts, or breaking through the rotten wooden planks. An old boiler. It's amazing that they have not been completely washed away by the spring floods. Now that's interesting. Somebody practicing their design. And the paddle wheels are largely gone, but the structure for the paddle wheels are still here. Back end of the steamboat. One at the end, one in the middle, and looks like a third one. So this is a wrap for the walk about the sternwheeler paddleboat graveyard. On our return to Dawson City, we stopped frequently along the edge of the Yukon River to just explore and check out the river rocks. See Dawson Creek, Dawson City in the background? Not Dawson Creek, Dawson City. Interesting to see a rock that looks like a human foot. Have to use that for the Saturday quiz. Along the shore of the Yukon River, close to the Paddlewheel Graveyard. So that is a wrap for the brief walk about the 3 sternwheeler paddle boats at the Paddlewheel Graveyard. They may not be in the best shape, but they do give a flavor for the historic transportation mode along the Yukon and other rivers during the Klondike Gold Rush. Thank you for watching and maybe even learning. Please consider liking, or better still, subscribing or commenting on the video. See you in the next one. Cheers!